Hello student. Today again I am going to start chapter 2nd. Topic is Indian economy. This is part 6. In this video we are going to talk about industrial development. In the previous lecture I had told you that whatever reforms taken by the government for the improvement of agriculture sector. Okay, so we had learned about institutional or land reforms and green revolution. With the help of that, the government is able to improve the condition of agriculture sector, and with the help of the green revolution we become self dependent in the field of food grain, in the field of production of food grain. Okay, now in this video we are going to talk about industrial sector. Okay, so on the eve of independence we had learned in the first chapter what was the condition of industrial sector when there is no British rule. Okay, so that time our economy, yeah, our industrial sector means handicraft industry. Industrial sector means what? Handicraft industry. Okay, and we are well known, we were well known all over the world for our fine quality and product, handicraft product. Okay, and because before the arrival of Britishers, India is a self reliant, okay, and self dependent country. So because of that there is no requirement for import. Okay, so we only do the export of handicraft goods, and in return we get gold, silver, coins, and because of that Roman calls us the sink of gold, and this is why we are known as a golden bird before the arrival of Britishers. But when Britishers came India, they have the first target, that was to destroy handicraft industry, and they did it with the help of discriminatory tariff policy. With which policy? Discriminatory tariff policy. Okay, so I had told you in detail about that. Okay, now what was the condition of India on the eve of independence? Our handicraft industry was totally ruined up, closed up, because of the policy adopted by the Britishers. Okay, so in this way our industrial sector was ruined up. If we talk about the modern industry, what the Britishers had done, so there is only industries related to uh, the cotton and the textile jute industry. Okay, so the industries was limited. The cotton, textile and jute industry were mostly developed in India. Okay, and there were only two well managed iron and steel firm, first in Jamshedpur and second in Kolkata. So in this way there is only blink growth of modern industry. Blink means what? Blink का मतलब झपकी लेना. तो there is very slight means full हल्का, बहुत थोड़ा सा. तो there is a slight development, a little development of modern industry, and that is not sufficient. For our development. Okay, so this is why when India gained its dependent, okay, so the policy makers decided to give focus on the development of industrial sector. Okay, so which type of policy adopted by the policy maker under the 5-year plan, how we have done for the development of modern industry, that we are going to discuss about in this video. So first, before the understanding what policy that is related to industrial development, we are going to understand what is the benefit of industrialization, or what is the role of industrialization in development. Okay, या फिर what is the importance of industry. So if question is asked about the importance of industry, or benefits of industrialization, or role of industrialization or industry in development, so you are going to write these point. Okay, so let me understand one by one. So first, industrialization leads to an increase in per capita income, okay, and provides goods to meet high income demand. Okay, when there is industrialization, okay, people is going to get employment. When they do work, they get income. When they get income, they demand goods and services. Because of this, there will be more production of goods and services. In this way, there will be increase in per capita income, and there will be more demand in the economy, and this is going to accelerate, this is going to increase the development of a country. So in this way, industrialization is very important for any country. You know na, at the yeah, on the eve of independence, yeah, at the time of independence, we are stagnated and backward economy, and free independent India, what the policy makers having the target, that we want that our India become a developed economy. Okay, so for that to achieve this target, to become a developed economy, we require what? We require modern industry, we require modern industry. Okay, so when there will be more industry, there will be more people is going to be get employment, they get income. When they get income, they demand goods, okay, and services. In this way, there will be more production of goods and services, and in this way, per capita income and development process will start. Okay, now in the second point, it provide increasing avenue for the employment of new and skilled labor. So first we talk about this, when there will be industrial development, okay student, so there will be more job opportunity. Obviously, if you talk about agriculture sector and the manufacturing or industrial sector, when we talk about the industrial sector, we are talking about manufacturing or secondary sector. Okay student, so when there will be more industrialization, there will be more industries were set up, yeah, industries are set up, okay, sorry, when there are more industries are set up, then more people will get employment, and industry give more stable employment opportunity in compared to agriculture sector. Okay, why, how more stable employment? Because in agriculture sector, production of food is seasonal. You know now, production of food, our crop is what? Seasonal. Whole the year we don't do the production of uh, crops. Okay, so there are seasonal, like a production of rice, production of wheat, production of sugarcane, so they are seasonal. Okay, there are some time bound. But if we talk about the industrial sector, so industrial sector you get the work for whole the year. On the other hand, in agriculture sector, what we find seasonal unemployment. Okay, there is in industrial sector, people were get employment at the time of harvesting, yeah, at the time in the beginning when there is the process of production. Okay, fruit crop are uh, cultivated, we started to do the agriculture, मतलब फसल को बोने के समय, ठीक है, या फिर काटने के समय, देयर इज़ यूज़ ऑफ वर्कर्स. ओके, बट इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर अ वर्कर गेट्स एम्प्लॉयमेंट फॉर whole the year. In this way, industrial sector give more stable employment. What give? More stable employment, okay, in compared to agriculture sector. Okay, now this point is clear na, increasing avenue for employment. Now skilled labor force, it increases skilled labor force. Obviously, फॉर अगर हम बीज बोना चाहते हैं या फिर फसल काटना चाहते हैं, तो इसके लिए कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी जाती. तो we don't require a trained cultivator. Okay, there is not any training institute for that. Anyone can do this. Okay, it require more labor work, but anyone can do it. But if you talk about, if you want to hire a teacher, if you want to hire an engineer, if you want to construct a road, if you want to construct a flyover, okay, and if you are doing production of machinery, AC, fridge, car, TV, so you require skilled people. Without the help of the skilled labor, you cannot do the production of industrial product. Okay, so industrial product, basically there are two type of goods in In macro you had learned capital, capital and consumer, and consumer goods. So for producing consumer good are for producing capital goods. Capital goods means machine equipment, like for production of tractors, thresher machine, for the production of typewriters, for the production of computer, okay, are for the production of shampoos, uh, pen, copy, stationery item, grocery item. So we require skilled labor. Okay. So in this way, when there will be industrialization, there will be more job opportunity, and these job opportunity gives more stable employment, and there will be more uh, demand of skilled labor, so there will be increase in the number of skilled labor, and that creates human capital formation. Means there will be more number of education institute, okay, and because of more number of education institute there will be more development. Okay. Now the third point, it enables diversification of the market and require a higher stage of development. Obviously, if you talk about a rural area, okay, so in rural area most of, yeah, 80% people are engaged in agriculture. Their income is low. Okay, like if you take the example of any village, like if you go to the Basgaon area, if you go to the Chori Chora area, ठीक है, चौरी चौरा area, okay. Otherwise, take one side these two example, and take one side your Gorakhpur, or you take the example of Noida, Greater Noida, Bangalore, okay. So what in रूरल एरिया, फर्स्ट वी टेक द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रूरल एरिया लाइक बस्ती या फिर चौरी चौरा या फिर बासगांव एरिया, पीपल आर मोस्टली engaged where in agriculture sector. Their income is low. When they are having low income, so they are going to demand which type of goods? That's price is low. So the market is not going to have variety of goods. Okay, if you go to Chori Chora market or you go to the Basgaon market, you are not going to get branded showroom. There will be not AC, there will be not electronic item like Gorakhpur city area. Okay, या फिर in Greater Noida, if you go to the if you compare Gorakhpur with the Bangalore या फिर any metropolitan city, तो there is more diversification, more new technology goods you can find, more branded things you can find, more showroom you can see. So in this way, when there is industrialization, it diversify the market. Why it diversify the market? Because in industrial area people gets more income in compared to agriculture sector. When they get more income, so they can purchase more type of goods and services, so they demand more variety of type of goods and services, so there will be diversification of market. Okay. Now next point is, it improves infrastructural facility like railway, power generation, etc. for the further economic development. Obviously, if you take the example of Greater Noida, or take the example of Gurgaon, or take the example of Bangalore. So what? If you take the example of Greater Noida, so Greater Noida was established under the special economic zones. Before that, this is a rural area, but when government decided to develop this area as a special economic zone, so because of that there is metro, there is power generation, okay, there are more infrastructural development, so they are now too much developed area. Okay, so whenever, anywhere, when their industries were set up, there are more development. If you take very simple example, Mohanapur, there is, when there is a school, when Mohanapur Divine Public School is open in that area, you can see there are more development. If you go to the back 4 to 5 years, there was not such development as you see today. Okay, more houses are there, more bakery shops are there. Okay, road, now construction of road you can see till till to your school. Okay, so in this way, and power supply also you can see, more house facility you can see. So the price of land increases. So whenever there is any industrial development, reopening of any industry or any school, so any services are provided in a particular place, so there will be more development, and because of that industry, yeah, because of that school or hospital, there will be more development. Okay, next point, it helps in earning foreign exchange. Why it has more earning foreign exchange? If you take the example of one side rice and take one side any capital good, aeroplane or electronic goods, AC, car, okay, whose price is high? Obviously consumer goods are capital goods, they are having high price in compared to agricultural product like jute, rice, wheat, okay, coffee, tea. So if you are just exporting agriculture product, you are going to get less foreign exchange because their price is less. The price of agricultural product is not too high, price is less. If you are going to export electronic items, consumer goods, capital goods, so they are commanding, yeah, they are their price is high, so you are able to get more foreign exchange. I think you are able to understand. Okay, if India is only exporting agricultural product, so it is able to gain less foreign exchange. If India is able to export electronic items, capital goods, consumer goods, okay, so it is able to gain more foreign exchange. Take the example of China. China is exporting more electronics item all over the world. Because of that, it is having huge foreign exchange reserve. It is having the first position in having foreign exchange reserve. India, its place is 8, but China, it is having the first position. Okay, so I think you are able to understand the importance of industrialization in very simple language. Because of industrialization, if there is increase in industrialization, there will be more employment. When there will be more employment, there will be more income. Okay, when there will be more income, people will demand more, and when there will be increase in demand, there will be more production. In this way, the whole economy is started to develop. The speed of development will increase. Okay, student, so I think you are able to understand it. Now we are going to discuss about the government rule, regulation and policy adopted till 1950 to 1990. Okay, so first of all, the question is before our free, our independent India, ki which is going to get important role, private sector or public sector? Government sector is going to play main role, or private sector is should be given to play main role? So this, that is we are going to discuss. So role of market means private sector, role of state or public sector in industrial development. A very important question before the policy makers of post independent India was, out of private sector and public sector, which would be given the priority role in industrial development of the country? We know private sector operates through the mechanism of market. On the other hand, public sector governed by the state. So in the beginning of this chapter, I had told you now that there are two questions before our free India. First is, which type of economy we are going to adopt, okay, and which plan we are going to adopt for faster growth. So we adopted mixed economy, means where both public sector as well as private sector. Now question is that who is going to play main role for the development, private sector or government sector or public sector? So remember one thing, private sector work only for profit, only for profit. On the other hand, public sector work for social welfare. Okay, so now we are going to discuss that ki in India main role is given to public sector or government or state. Why? So we are going to discuss in further slides. Okay, there was a need for a leading role of public sector due to the following reason. So we had discussed now कि policy makers having this problem that कि which sector is going to play main role, private sector or government sector या public sector. So they have get solution that there should be main role given to public sector. Why? I had told you na, private work for profit and government or public sector work for the society, for the social welfare, for the betterment of every individual. So there are the three reasons. Because of that, public sector is given leading role. And one more thing, this is very important for your board examination point of view. So remember this point, maybe it will ask in this year. Okay, so there are three reasons. Because of that, public or government sector is given leading role. They played leading role. Okay, so first is shortage of capital with the private sector. If you talk about the private sector, so then you, who is going to operate private sector? Individuals. Okay, entrepreneurs, businessmen. So at the time of independence or on the eve of independence, if you talk about the entrepreneur, so there are only two. At the time of independence, only there are two entrepreneurs, Tata and Birla. Okay, so in this way, there are very few people who are having money. So because of that, lack of money, lack of capital, lack of number of entrepreneur, government, the policy makers given leading role to government or public sector. The first point is shortage of capital. There are only there is only two. There was only two entrepreneur or business families, Tata and Birla. Okay, and no other is having so too much money. So because of that, government sector has been given leading role. Now, lack of incentive for the private sector. Those people who are having the money, who are having the capital, they also don't want to invest money. Why they don't want to invest money? Because of limited size of market. So in India, that time there was limited size of market. What is the meaning of the limited size of the market? So at the time of independent, we are a stagnated and backward economy. Okay, and our economy is agrarian economy. More than 75% people were engaged in agriculture sector. Okay, so because they are engaged in agriculture sector, their income is too low. When their income is too low, their demand for goods and services is also low. Okay, they are only to purchase the goods and services that is available at a low price. So because of that, they are not able to gain the profit, because people are not having money to purchase luxurious item or other things that's price is high. So obviously, because of this region, people are not having money to purchase goods and services that are high priced or that are available at a market price. So because of that, private sector not having any incentive, they don't want to invest money because of limited size of market. And we find limited size of market because of low level of income of the people. And why people are having low level of income? Because more than 75% people were engaged in agriculture sector. Where? In agriculture sector. And agriculture sector gives low income. And one more thing, there is seasonal employment. So some time of the year they are unemployed. So in this way, the size of market is low, and because of that, the private entrepreneur is not able to get profit, and private sector only works for profit. In this way, they don't want to invest their money. So this is the second reason. Because of that, the private sector is not want to invest their money. So again, public sector had given leading role. Public sector had been given leading role. The first is shortage of capital. Only two big entrepreneur or businessmen are there, Tata and Birla, and no other people are having too much money for investment. Second reason, the people who are having money, they don't want to invest. Why? Because of limited size of market. And why we are having limited size of market? Because of having agrarian economy. Now the third topic is objective of social welfare. So social welfare is related to what? Equity. Social welfare is related to equity. In 5-year plan, I had told about long term goal. So first is modernization, then self reliant, then full employment, and one is equitable distribution or equity. So equity means कि everyone is able to get money. Okay, yeah, everyone is able to get basic things, food, education, shelter. Okay, and I had told you now people are having very low income. So obviously there is only the government who can provide these basic things at a very low price or free of cost. Yeah, at a free price. So because of that, again, who is going to play the leading role? Government. So that is why if you talk about 150 to 90, there was only government school, there is only city hospital, there is mostly government road based buses, railways, aviation department, there is only the presence of government. Okay, so in this way, for social welfare, government is given leading role, because private is not going to available goods at a low price or at a free of cost. No businessman can do. Who can do? Government. Like today in COVID-19 period, government is providing many things free of cost, like 2 kilo chawal, गेहूँ चावल चने की दाल. ठीक है, who is having the ration card, they are able to get these things at a free of cost. Okay, so only who can do? Government sector. So because of that, government sector or public sector had been given leading role because of 3 reasons: shortage of capital, because there is only 2 entrepreneur, Tata and Birla; lack of incentive, because the size of market is limited, so very few people are able to purchase goods and services at a market price. Okay, third is objective of social welfare. Government target is that everyone is able to get basic thing. Okay, so they have to provide it, otherwise at very low cost, otherwise at a free cost. So for who can do it? Only government. Now next, so which policy they adopted? So for that, industrial policy resolution 1956, IPR 96 has been adopted. Okay, so this, the first industrial policy resolution was adopted in 1948, and this question this time asked in board examination. इस बार ये question आया था 1 marks में. Okay, so the first industrial policy resolution was adopted in 1948. After the adoption of this resolution, some significant development took place in Indian economy. Okay, now in 1950, government accepted 5-year plan. Okay, so new constitution had been accepted by the country. 5-year plan has been completed. After parliament has accepted the socialistic pattern of the society. So there are 3 reasons because we make the next industrial policy, that is industrial policy resolution 1956. First is in 1948, in first industrial policy resolution IPR was adopted in 1941, and second in 1956. Why we adopted? Because now we had accepted 5-year plan, our constitution has accepted, and third, we had accepted as a fundamental right, socialistic pattern of society. So because of that, so these important development necessities a fresh industrial policy resolution. Hence a new industrial policy resolution was adopted in April 1956. So because of 3 reasons, हमने नई पॉलिसी IPR 1956 में कंस्ट्रक्ट की, अडॉप्ट की. ओके, सो फर्स्ट वन adopted in 1941 48, and second is 1956. And why we make second one IPR? Because of three reasons. Because we have constructed our constitution second 5-year plan. Now we had adopted for our faster development 5-year plan. And the third thing is, now the government have socialistic pattern of society. They decided we are adopting mixed economy. Okay. Now, classification of industries. So, in IPR 1956, there was classification, reclassification of the industry in schedule, in the form of Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C. So, in this way, the industrial sector was classified, okay, in Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C. So, Schedule A, this first category comprised industry which would be exclusively owned by the state. So Schedule A is related to those 17 industry that is regulated and owned by, that is owned by government. Okay, so Schedule A is related to 17 industry that is owned by public sector or by the government. And some examples are written here, like arm and atomic energy, heavy core industry, aircraft, oil, railway, shipping. These are the industry that is totally in the control of government, owned by, operated by, managed by only government. So who is how many industry totally governed by the government? 17. And they come in which? Schedule A. Now Schedule B. So there are 12 industries. Okay, owned by government, but there will be also participation of private sector. They are going to play supplementary role. Okay, so they are going to help government. Okay, so in this way there are both public sector as well as private sector for 12 industries. Okay, so how many the example of these industries are aluminum, mining industry, machine tools, fertilizer. So such type of industries owned by the government, but they take help of private sector also. But in these 17 industry, these are totally owned, operated, controlled, managed by the government. There is no role of private sector. But in these 12 industry owned by the government, but their private sector is also given supplementary role. Okay, now Schedule C. So left industry, 7 plus 12. After that, whatever industry left, that is given to private sector, that is available for private sector. Okay, and the state would facilitate and encourage the development of these industry, and these industry were controlled by the state through a system of license that is known as a Industrial Development Regulation Act 1951. So remember, in IPR 1956 there are threefold classification of industry: Section A, Section B, and Schedule A, Schedule B, and Schedule C. In A there are 17 industry that is totally controlled and owned by government. In Schedule B there are 12 industry owned by the government, but private sector also given role, supplementary role. In Schedule C, left industries were there, and that is for private sector, but government is going to control it, but they are not totally free. These left industry were controlled by the state or by the government with the help of Industrial Development Regulation Act, in short Industrial Act 1951. They are controlled by these. The industry that come in Schedule C, that is controlled by which act? Industrial Act 1951. Which act? Industrial Act 1951. So now we are going to understand. Okay, so industrial licensing. What is the meaning of industrial licensing? So industrial licensing is a written permission. Remember, it is the key word. What is industrial licensing? So industrial licensing is a written permission that private sector have to gain from government sector. Okay, so it is a written permission from the government to an industrial unit to manufacture goods. If you want to establish a industry, so first of all you have to take written permission from the government, and that is industrial licensing, and that is Industrial Act 1951. Okay, so this written permission is required not only at the time of establishment of industry, but it is required 3 times. Okay, so in Industrial Act 1951, government have this power. Okay, any private sector, if they want to establish a new industry, otherwise they want to expand their industry, or they want to diversify their industry, every 3 times, these 3 times they have to take written permission, means they have to take license. Without license they cannot open their industry, they cannot expand it, they cannot diversify. What is the meaning of these things? तो setting up, I know it is very, अगर आप नई इंडस्ट्री बनाना चाहते हो, स्टैब्लिश करना चाहते हो, तो आपको क्या चाहिए? रिटन परमिशन. ओके, एक्सपेंशन मीन्स मान लो कि आप एक इंडस्ट्री बनाए जिसमें आप 100 गुड्स का प्रोडक्शन कर रहे थे, अब आप 200 गुड्स का प्रोडक्शन करना चाहते हो. तो अगेन व्हेन यू वांट टू एक्सपेंड, okay, you want to purchase new machinery, new equipment, so that you can produce 200x. So for that again you require license or written permission from the government. So this is expansion of existing one. Now diversification, if you want to produce more than one good, like take the example of Tata. Suppose Tata started with steel plant. Now it want to produce pipe also, it want to produce Tata is producing too much thing now. Take one more example, USA company, they started to produce, first of all, suppose they started to produce silai machine, stitching machine. Okay, now they want to produce pressure cooker, they want to produce fan, so they have to take permission. So this is known as a diversification. When a firm want to produce different type of goods, okay, so they have to take permission. So if you want to set up a new unit, you have to take permission. If you want to expand your unit, initially your unit is producing 100x, if you want to produce 200x, you require written permission, license. Initially you are producing pressure cooker, now you want to produce fan also, so again you have to take written permission. In this way Industrial Act 1951 is related to licensing or permission, okay, written permission. And on this time the private sector have to take permission. According to industrial licensing, if you are going to no industry was allowed unless a license is obtained from the government. Without license, without the written permission, no one can start industry. Okay, second thing, if you want to start your industry in economical backward area like UP, Bihar, Odisha, okay, like Jharkhand, so in that backward area, so license is given easily. Why this rule is adopted? Ki if you are going to open your industry in a backward area, you are able to get license very easily, so that there will be regional equality. Because this policy was to promote regional equality, means everywhere there will be establishment of industry, हर area में क्या हो, industry हो. Okay, so for that, if you want to open new industrial unit in Bombay, so you have to wait, you have to wait for getting license. But if you want to open industry in a backward area, so you can get license very easily. Okay, so why this policy is adopted, this rule is adopted, so that there will be regional equality. Now in this way, in the last license was needed if an existing industry want to expand output or diversify production. Okay, license to expand production was given only if government was convinced that there is a need for larger quantity of good of the economy. And for the expanding, 100 गुड्स का प्रोडक्शन कर रहे थे, अब आप 200 का प्रोडक्शन करना चाहते हो, 200 का प्रोडक्शन करना चाहते हो, तो गवर्नमेंट ओनली गिव यू लाइसेंस व्हेन गवर्नमेंट फील दैट इट इज़ रिक्वायर फॉर Indian people. There is requirement of more production for the people. Now, if you are feeling profitable, then you are not going to get the permission. If government feel that it is going to give profit to the people, then only you are able to get permission. So in this way, this Industrial Act 1951, in which licensing system, so this licensing system going to control private sector, and there will be controlled development of private sector. This is the conclusion. There was controlled development of private sector. They have to take permission at the time of establishment, at the time of expansion, at the time of diversification. So because of that there is less development of private sector. Okay, thank you, student. In the next video we are going to talk about small scale industry. Okay.